Hey everyone, welcome back to Literate Lens. I'm so glad you're here today because we're about to dive into something that could literally change the way you think about your life. And I know that sounds dramatic, but just stay with me. Have you ever woken up and thought, what's the point? Like, why am I doing all of this? Going to work, studying, hustling every single day? For what? Well, today we're talking about a book that answers that exact question. It's called Ikigai by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. And trust me, this isn't just another self-help book. This is about finding your reason to wake up every morning with a smile on your face. So let me take you on a journey. Imagine this. There's a small island in Japan called Okinawa. It's known as the land of immortals because people there live longer than almost anywhere else on Earth. We're talking about people in their 90s and 100s who are still active, still smiling, still finding joy in every single day. The authors were fascinated by this, so they traveled to Okinawa to figure out the secret. What they discovered wasn't some magic pill or special diet, although, yes, they do eat well. What they found was something much deeper, something that exists inside every single one of us. They found Ikigai. Now, Ikigai is a Japanese word, and it roughly translates to your reason for being. It's that thing that makes you jump out of bed in the morning, that thing that gives your life meaning and purpose. And here's the beautiful part. Everyone has one. You have one, I have one, but most of us have no idea what it is because we're too busy living on autopilot, doing what we think we're supposed to do, instead of what actually lights us up inside. The authors tell us that Ikigai sits at the intersection of four things. First, what you love. Second, what you're good at. Third, what the world needs. And fourth, what you can be paid for. When you find that sweet spot where all four of these overlap, that's your Ikigai. That's your purpose. And when you're living in alignment with your Ikigai, life just flows differently. You're not dragging yourself through your days anymore. You're actually excited to be alive. But here's where it gets real. Finding your Ikigai isn't always easy, especially in today's world. We're constantly being told what success looks like. Get good grades, get into a good college, get a high-paying job, buy a house, get married, have kids. And don't get me wrong, those things can be wonderful. But what if that path doesn't light you up? What if you're following someone else's blueprint for happiness instead of creating your own? The people in Okinawa, they don't think about retirement. In fact, they don't even have a word for it because why would you retire from something you love? These are people who are 80, 90 years old, and they're still tending their gardens, still teaching kids, still creating art, still contributing to their community. They've found their Ikigai, and it keeps them young, keeps them healthy, keeps them alive in the truest sense of the word. One of the most powerful ideas in this book is about staying active, not just physically, but mentally. The moment you stop moving, stop learning, stop growing, that's when you start dying. And I don't mean that in a morbid way. I mean it in a very literal sense. Our brains and bodies need purpose. They need challenges. They need something to wake up for. Without that, we just kind of fade away. The authors also talk about something called flow. You know that feeling when you're so absorbed in something that time just disappears? Maybe you're painting or coding or playing music or even having an amazing conversation with someone you love. Hours pass, but it feels like minutes. That's flow. And when you're in flow, you're fully present. You're not worrying about the past or stressing about the future. You're just here, now, doing the thing that makes you feel most alive. That's where Ikigai lives. But let's be honest for a second. Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Bad things happen. We lose people we love. We fail at things we tried hard at. We get our hearts broken. We face rejection. And in those moments, it's easy to lose sight of our Ikigai. It's easy to feel like nothing matters. But the people in Okinawa, they taught the authors something incredible about resilience. They have this concept of accepting what you cannot change and finding beauty even in imperfection. They call it wabi-sabi. It's about embracing the cracks, the flaws, the messiness of life, and seeing it as part of the beauty, not a flaw in the system. Think about a piece of pottery that has a crack in it. In Western culture, we might throw it away because it's broken, it's not perfect anymore. But in Japan, they practice something called kintsugi, where they repair the pottery with gold. They don't hide the crack, they highlight it, they make it beautiful. Because that crack is part of the story. It's what makes that piece unique. And the same goes for us. Our struggles, our failures, our broken moments, those aren't things to be ashamed of. They're part of what makes us who we are.
The book also dives into the importance of community. In Okinawa, they have these social groups called moai. It's basically a group of friends who support each other through thick and thin, emotionally, financially, whatever you need. And these aren't just casual friendships. These are lifelong bonds. From childhood to old age, your moai is there for you. And that sense of belonging, that feeling of being seen and supported, it's one of the reasons they live so long and so happily. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly connected to the people around you? Not just scrolling through their Instagram stories or liking their tweets, but actually sitting down, looking them in the eye, and having a real conversation. We're more connected than ever through technology, but somehow we've never felt more alone. The people of Okinawa remind us that real human connection isn't optional. It's essential. It's part of what keeps us alive. Another beautiful lesson from Ikigai is about slowing down. We live in a culture that glorifies busy. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. I only got 4 hours of sleep. I worked through the weekend. I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. And we think that makes us successful. But the people who live the longest, the happiest lives, they're not rushing. They're savoring. They're taking their time. They're eating slowly, walking slowly, noticing the small, beautiful moments that most of us speed right past. There's this idea in the book about hara hachibu, which means eat until you're 80% full. Not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just satisfied. And this applies to everything, not just food. Don't overdo it. Don't bring yourself out. Leave a little space. Leave a little room to breathe. Because life isn't a race. There's no prize for getting to the end first. The point is to actually enjoy the journey. Now, let's talk about something that hits close to home for a lot of us, especially if you're young and trying to figure out what to do with your life. The pressure to have it all figured out is crushing. We're told we need to pick a career path by the time we're 18, and that one decision is supposed to define the rest of our lives. But here's the truth that Ikigai teaches us. Your purpose isn't something you find once and then you're done. It evolves. It grows. It changes as you change. And that's okay. Actually, that's beautiful. Maybe right now your Ikigai is learning, exploring, trying new things. Maybe it's creating art or building something with your hands. Maybe it's helping people or making them laugh. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be your forever thing. It just has to be your right now thing. And when you follow that, when you lean into what excites you today, the path starts to reveal itself. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the next step. The authors also remind us that Ikigai doesn't have to be this grand, world-changing thing. It doesn't have to be curing cancer or inventing the next big tech innovation. For some people, their Ikigai is teaching. For others, it's gardening. For others, it's making the perfect cup of coffee every morning. It's not about the size of the impact. It's about the sincerity of it. It's about doing something that matters to you, that brings you joy, that makes you feel like you're contributing something good to the world, even if that world is just your little corner of it. And here's something that really stuck with me. The book talks about how stress isn't the enemy. It's not stress that kills us. It's feeling like what we're doing has no meaning. You can work really hard, face huge challenges, deal with pressure, and still be happy and healthy if you believe that what you're doing matters. But if you're just going through the motions, if you're doing something you hate just to pay the bills, just to keep up appearances, that's what drains the life out of you. So the question becomes, are you doing what you love? Are you spending your days on things that actually matter to you? Or are you living someone else's version of success? Because here's the hard truth. You could have all the money in the world, all the status, all the external markers of achievement,
and still feel completely empty inside if you're not living in alignment with your Ikigai. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I don't have the luxury of following my passion. I have bills to pay, I have responsibilities, and I get it. I really do. But Ikigai isn't about quitting your job tomorrow and moving to a beach somewhere. It's about finding meaning where you are right now and slowly, intentionally moving towards a life that feels more aligned with who you really are. Maybe that means starting a side project. Maybe it's volunteering. Maybe it's making one real conversation a day instead of 10 shallow ones. Small shifts, tiny changes, they add up. The people of Okinawa, they didn't stumble into their purpose by accident. They cultivated it. They paid attention to what brought them joy. They stayed curious. They stayed connected. They stayed present. And that's something every single one of us can do, no matter where we are or what our circumstances look like.
As the book comes to a close, the authors leave us with this beautiful reminder. Your Ikigai is already inside you. You don't have to go searching for it in some far-off place or wait for some magical moment of clarity. It's in the things you naturally gravitate toward. It's in the activities that make you lose track of time. It's in the moments when you feel most like yourself. All you have to do is pay attention. Listen to that quiet voice inside you that knows what lights you up. And then have the courage to follow it. So here's my challenge to you. Over the next week, I want you to notice when you feel most alive. When do you feel energized? When do you feel like time is flying by? When do you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be? Write it down. Think about it, because that's your Ikigai trying to get your attention. And remember, this isn't a one-time thing. Finding your Ikigai is a lifelong journey. It's not a destination, it's a practice. It's waking up every day and choosing to live with intention, with purpose, with joy. It's deciding that your life matters, that what you do matters, that you matter. And when you live that way, everything changes. Before I go, if you found value in this summary, if something I said resonated with you, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Literate Lens is all about bringing you powerful learnings from books that can actually change your life. And I put my heart into every single video because I believe that the right book at the right time can shift everything. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's keep growing together. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for investing this time in yourself. And remember, your life has meaning. Your life has purpose. You just have to give yourself permission to discover it. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining your light.